Hello and welcome to Trade Pro Labs. Today we're having an interview with the founder of SOLA, and we're going to explain to you a little bit about what they do. First of all, if you guys have not joined the channel, please follow us, like, share, subscribe. And I'll give you a brief introduction about what Trade Pro Labs is. So Trade Pro Labs, we're a community-driven VC, giving you all of the latest information about cryptocurrency, Web3, all in one space, and bring all of the latest projects that can be the leaders in the future. So thank you guys for joining, and first and foremost, let's take it away. So Solar, you can continue with your introduction, and we'll go right into it.
Yes, perfect. Thank you very much for inviting me to this call. And let me just share the screen. All right. Liquidity DeFi Hub. And we are powered. Our main layer one is actually Solana, but we're also expanding our ecosystem towards other famous chains. And I think the most famous chain besides Solana is Cosmos in that case. And SOLA is on a mission to create a completely frictionless DeFi experience for traders and liquidity providers. And by saying frictionless, we mean that neither the traders or the liquidity providers are suffering any financial losses, or in the case of liquidity providers, are missing out on any APY opportunities. And when we were looking for a problem that is worth being solved, we identified, okay, what are the financial losses? On the one hand, in terms of the liquidity providers, it is about the impermanent loss, which is a huge problem that almost every DeFi user has experienced that provided liquidity, and also low APY opportunities or missed out APY opportunities. And that has a couple of reasons that are stated here. For example, it's pool architecture. It's the way how the liquidity is managed on different protocols. And if we're talking about the traders, so their main bottleneck is, and their pain point is, that they are experiencing high price impacts and slippage trades. So, and to put that into perspective, in terms of the liquidity providers, 43% of Uniswap's TVL is exposed to impermanent loss. So that means 43% of all TVL is actually losing money. And regarding the traders, if you want to execute a 22,000 USD swap within a pool of 630,000 USD TVL, you're experiencing a price impact of 4.5%. So that means it's a direct financial loss of 4.5%. And that's actually a lot of money, even especially if you put it into perspective with traditional markets. So 4.5%, if you earn that within a year in the stock market, it's quite an average sum. So and here it's just one trade where you can lose that amount of money within modern and most DeFi ecosystems out there. And our approach to solve this is, first of all, we've started with a completely new pool architecture. So that means we have created pools where users can first add multiple assets to a pool, and then also add or withdraw single assets to these pools. And also the asset weightings between these assets is flexible, and it's not like the traditional 50-50 model. And that is maybe known from some protocols like Balancer, Curve, or Bancor within the EVM ecosystem. And but we thought a little bit further than actually they did, because what we thought, okay, what can we do if we have that architecture? And we came up with the idea of smart liquidity routing, basically. And smart liquidity routing means we're talking about liquidity that is managed by the protocol itself. So that means if you want to provide liquidity within our protocol, the protocol collects the liquidity. Let's say, for example, it's USDC. USDC gets collected in a smart liquidity routing pool, and then our protocol decides to which pool this liquidity gets directed or routed to. So that means our protocol can use the provided liquidity in the most efficient way. So that means our protocol always directs the liquidity there where an IPY opportunity is. And our protocol, on the other hand, withdraws liquidity where the API opportunity is quite low. So that means, and as our protocol is doing it every minute and rebalancing all these liquidity allocations, it's way more efficient than it can be done by a human being. And on the other hand, as our protocol adds liquidity to multiple pools at the same time, we are reducing the impermanent loss risks. And based on that feature, smart liquidity routing, we thought, okay, that's the benefit for the liquidity provider, because they only need one asset in order to provide liquidity to multiple pools, and it's the highest possible APY that they are generating while their liquidity allocations are diversified. We thought, okay, how can we solve the problem of the traders? And that's the price impact that I mentioned earlier and the slippage. And what we thought about is, what if, for example, a large trade hits a pool with low liquidity? What if we direct liquidity to that pool before the trade gets executed? So that feature is called smart liquidity front running. And that means our protocol has basically zero price impact, because smart liquidity front running is triggered at a price impact that's higher than 0.2%. And this is one benefit in terms of the trader. And on the other hand, it also requires the lowers the required total amount of TVL within our protocol in order to run smoothly. And the fourth feature is margin liquidity. And margin liquidity is basically, liquidity providers or smart liquidity routing pools are utilizing money markets in order to leverage the liquidity position. And we've done some scientific research about that, and it's actually 8,000 times more capital efficient than Uniswap V3 concentrated liquidity. Our whole ecosystem is fueled by our SAX token. That means everyone who is holding a SAX token can, first of all, participate in our staking pool, where we will distribute 14% of all platform fees. The remaining 86% of all fees are distributed to the liquidity providers. And then so what we implemented is V tokenomics. So that means if you want, or if a user decides to lock the tokens for a period between 1 and 30 months, an APY multiplier will be applied on the one hand. And also, if SAX tokens get converted into VSAX tokens, there are additional benefits like governance or additional discounts for using our protocol. And on top of that, what we also offer is if users decide to lock liquidity within our pools, within our smart liquidity routing pools, this liquidity allocation also gets converted into VSAX tokens, and that enables governance and discount functions as well. And of course, the same APY multiplier applies like the one of the staking pool. Our token is, what we are doing is we are selling our token in 3 different stages, and we are expecting to list our token in the 3rd quarter this year. And we're talking to a couple of course, decentralized exchanges where we'll list our token, and also centralized exchanges. And our long-term vision for the protocol itself is not only just solving the problems that I mentioned earlier, in terms of the liquidity providers and the traders, but also what we want to achieve is, or what we want to offer is perpetual DEX features. So we are going to implement further down the roadmap, we are going to implement long or short and leverage positions. And what we are going to do is we will take that liquidity from our smart liquidity routing pools. And on the other hand, we believe that the future is cross-chain. And what we are going to do is we will expand to other ecosystems. And how we will do that, we are deploying on Nitro. And Nitro is a Solana virtual machine. It's very similar to Ethereum virtual machine, but based on Solana. And Nitro itself is actually a layer 2 solution, which is built on top of Zai. And Zai is a Cosmos app chain. So that means our protocol will be cross-chain the whole way from Solana to Nitro, to Zai, to Cosmos. So that means we have a huge access to different assets as well, and access to a lot of TVL within these ecosystems. Yeah, we have actually signed the first partnership ships with launchpads, with advisors, with venture funds, and with potential customers that will integrate our product once it's live on the mainnet. And yeah, you can test out our MVP on DevNet. We are live there. Currently, we have like 11,500 monthly unique visitors that are interacting with our website. And we received from the Handelsblatt an Innovation Award last year, which we are very proud of. Yeah, thank you very much for listening to me. And yeah, let's get back to the interview.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, one of the questions I'd like to ask you, where would you like to see your project in the next 5 to 10 years, and where would you expect it to be on the scale of the market and every other individual that's doing something like this? Where would you like your project to be ranked?
Yeah, so of course we did our market analysis, and what we saw there, we saw some forecasts from Grandview Search, I think it was, and actually the DeFi market size in 2021 was 3.2 billion, and it's expected to be 231 billion in 2030. So that means it's a 72x growth. And of course, we want to capture that growth with our initial plan in order to, yeah, within I think it was the first 18 months, our revenue goal or our trading volume goal within 24 hours is 300 million. And we want to capture that full growth. That means basically there is the potential if the DeFi market as a whole growth 72x. That means, and if we maintain the same market share, that means we have the opportunity to have a trading volume of 21 billion. But of course, the market has to get there, but that's definitely our long-term goal in terms of the market and the environment where we built a product for.
Amazing, amazing. And 5-year goal, what would be your 5-year goal for SOLAX?
5-year goal, I mean, within the next 5 years, that means market-wise, we are somewhere between our initial goal and the 21 billion that would be theoretically possible if we capture the full growth. So we would be somewhere in the middle of that, like maybe 10 billion. But yeah, it's very difficult to estimate. But product-wise, what we want to be there, or where we want to be there is we want to be fully live. We want to be fully cross-chain between different networks that I mentioned in the presentation. But also what our goal could be then, or will be until then, is to also develop our product or deploy our product on EVM chains, because the concept is quite unique, and it just makes sense to have, if you have such a concept that works, and why not deploy it on other chains as well? So that means we want to become more multi-chain, or at least deploy on other chains as well. And of course, we want to be perpetual by then.
Amazing, amazing. Yes, massive, massive, massive things. This is great, and current market sentiments, where you guys on a scale of, let's say, 1 to 10 on launching your project, your product? I mean, everything is live right now, or you're still in beta?
Yeah, we are currently still live on DevNet. But what we're going to do within the next couple of weeks is we will release a V2 of our protocol, because we just started with an MVP. And that means our MVP had like the core functions of our protocol. So that means you could provide liquidity, you could do swaps, stuff like that. And our V2 will come with the features smart liquidity routing and also smart liquidity front running. And that's going to be released soon. And then we, of course, have to do all the testing again and so on, and optimize it, of course. And yeah, once that's done, we want to launch on mainnet with the product. And that will be also somewhere in the Q2, Q3 range this year.
Amazing, amazing. So, guys, I would obviously like to thank the audience. Thank you all for joining us today. SolarX, thank you so much for your time and giving us this amazing interview about your project and where you guys are. Guys, if you guys like this video and you want to actually um, get in touch with SolarX, please DM us. Also, you will find a link in the description if you can go and vote for SolarX. We'd love for you guys to give us a vote and a thumbs up. Obviously, like, share, subscribe, and follow us to get all of the latest projects in one place. Thank you guys for joining TPL. SolarX, thank you guys for joining us as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care.